Now to our breaking news story. Tear gas and water cannons are being used by police to disperse crowds of protesters gathered in Istanbul's Taksim Square. This comes shortly after the Turkish Prime Minister issued yet another warning to protesters, saying security forces will intervene if they don't clear the square by Sunday. RT's Irina Glushka now joins us live from Istanbul. Irina, good evening to you. What exactly is happening right now?
Well, at this point we can talk about the Taksim Square being completely cleared of protests, and I believe you can see it now. We have some ambulance vehicles there, and if you can look at the corner of your screen, you'll probably see people that are dismantling everything in Taksim, in the Gezi Park. And this is basically what is happening here right now, is that police have actually entered the Gezi Park for the first time in 2 weeks, and they're taking apart all the tents and all the barricades that people have built there. Now, we also know that neither media nor medical personnel are actually allowed at this point in the park itself. And as you have mentioned, all of this comes just an hour after Prime Minister Erdogan yet again said that this protest will not be tolerated and that all the tents will have to be gone by Sunday. And you have to understand that there are hundreds of tents that were in there. People were literally living there for weeks. And of course now a lot of people that have left Taksim Square, or were rather pushed out by police with water cannons and tear gas, they're all now congregating in streets that are leading up to Taksim Square. One of the main thoroughfares, Istiklal, with all the shops and an extremely popular public attraction. Actually, I think it's blocked by the crowds right now, and I can hear them cheering and yelling slogans, anti-government slogans, and they're also cordoned off by police. And they did use water cannons to try and cool them down, but that obviously didn't work. So these people are not going anywhere. And of course, this is yet another dispersal of protest in Istanbul this week. We had another one on Tuesday, and then if you look at a city like Ankara, the capital of Turkey, the protests, which are dispersed by police with water cannons and tear gas, have been going on there on a daily basis, and only 2 nights of those days were the occasions when police did not interfere. On all other occasions, you had all your sorry, I believe they're using the pepper spray and tear gas again, because we have just heard clashes and it's starting to get a little hard to breathe at this point. But it does look like we're looking at an interesting situation here in Istanbul and in Ankara as well. Of course, we have to understand that all of this comes just within hours after Prime Minister held a rally of his supporters in Ankara suburb. Again, just before that, he said he is getting tired of holding back his supporters who are also against the demonstrations and protests in Gezi Park and on Taksim Square. He has on numerous occasions called these protests looters and alcoholics and extremists, and said that none other than foreign forces are behind the entire protests, which have been literally raging on in Turkey for the past 2 weeks. But even though this is a major move when it comes to dispersing protests, we're talking about Gezi Park now being evicted, I do not think that we're seeing the end of it just yet, because like I said, there are thousands of people that are on the streets of Istanbul right now. So again, we have to wait and see how the situation develops from here.
Irina, thank you very much. RT's Irina Glushka across events in Turkey for us here on RT.